Hi, I'm Kat Miller. Welcome to this episode of Passionate Living. Today we're going to have a lot of fun. First, you're going to join me in Santa Monica, California with my dear friend Max Gail, who's an Emmy Award-winning actor. And for those of you who watch Passionate Living on a steady basis, Max has been on my show before, and I love having him as a guest because he shares his passions with us and also just has such a great energy about how to live a vibrant life. Always has fun stories for us. As well, we're going to meet Dr. Andrew Pleener down in Fort Worth, Texas, and he's going to share with me some tips about how to live your passions with more grace and ease in this world and keep your mental fitness in really wonderful shape. And finally, we're going back to Buffalo, New York, where we're going to meet two of my dear friends, Newell Nussbaumer and Dave Constantino. And they started an Italian market, one of their passions, and we're going to hear how they did it and have a little bit of fun. So you're not going to want to miss this very special journey into passionate living. So buckle your seatbelts, get ready, and let's go have some fun. So I am here with my new friend, Dr. Andrew Pleener, and I watched you today talk, and oh my gosh, you had so many beautiful things to say, and I can't wait to share it with everybody out here today. But you are a doctor of psychiatry? Is that your... Would you?
Correct, yeah, and no, I appreciate you having kind things to say. I'm an integrative psychiatrist,
Yeah.
which is similar to conventional, except looking for ways beyond just simply prescribing and taking a little bit of a deeper understanding of mind-body connection.
Right. That's wonderful. So you're not going straight for the drug cabinet. You're actually treating the person and looking for the cause of what's going on instead of just treating the symptoms with drugs necessarily, correct?
Correct. My goal as an integrative practitioner is always to look for ways beyond just simply prescribing, whether it's botanical, supplements, modalities outside of that, various forms of therapy, neurofeedback, alpha stimulation, always looking for different modalities and to really explain how stress from the challenges that we all go through in life, breakups, divorces, job losses, now with coronavirus, who hasn't gone through some of these challenges and all the worrying and the high alert that we go through, it disrupts so many different circuits in our nervous system. And the way the conventional model is, it's very singular in nature. We get a diagnosis and then we're looking for med management as the main form of treatment. And there's nothing necessarily wrong with that. But it would almost be like going to a gym and just doing nothing but tricep exercises for the rest of your life.
We are
like what we have right now.
Right.
But just like there's so many different circuits in the body, we have to start learning about all the different modalities. Just like there's a gym for the body, there's a gym for the central nervous system.
Exactly, right. And that's the thing, we learn we should work out, stretch in the morning, work out, you should get your heart rate up for at least 10 to 20 minutes a day. We learn all these physical health tips, but we're not hearing the mental health tips. And I mean, like the dopamine rush that we get from the phone, that's got to change our system hormonally and electrically and every other way, right?
I love
from our electronics.
I love what you're just sharing with that. I mean, if you think about it, we have gym class every single day where we're learning push-ups, sit-ups, and jump rope for heart health. Why aren't we learning tapping, breathing, and havening for our mental fitness? With the dopamine hits, our nervous system tends to get out of alignment as we go through these challenges. And these unalignments are actually being amplified by the technology that we have, the reminder of all the stresses, the social medias, being able to have access to all of that every single day can even further exacerbate a stress response, things that we didn't have access to those things growing up.
We couldn't constantly disassociate with a video game 24/7.
And naturally, we're going to want to gravitate towards something that makes us feel better and avoid things that
Right.
don't. And if feeling uncomfortable and out of alignment from everything that we've been through in the last couple of years is making us feel out of rhythm, then escapes that give us dopamine hits become the biggest way of taking our mind
Right.
off of things. And it doesn't just have to be the cell phone, it can be overindulgence in work, it could be overindulgence in drugs and alcohol, something that gives us a reward response and takes your mind off of it. The problem is that we're not really working on rebuilding that neurobiological
Right.
architecture.
Right. People come home from work, they turn on the TV, the news is on, entertainment's on, and we are not sitting down at the dining table together and just sharing. And you think about the dining room table, for instance, that was a place to process the day. Everybody talked about what happened during the day, we checked in, and I never really thought about it until recently, but it's kind of like a space to process with family or loved ones. And we're not doing that. We're just constantly somewhere else.
You know,
Yeah.
you're nailing another great point, Kat. I mean, there's something called even mindful eating, which is being taught to people, but it really shouldn't even be something that's taught. It should be something that we just do. It's the rest and
Right.
digest response. You're not supposed to be running from a lion or a bear when you're eating your meal. It's going to
Right.
disrupt your digestion and lead to, bloating and bacterial overgrowth and acid reflux. So the mealtime used to be a great way to get ourselves into a state of calm. It was putting down smartphones and technology,
Right.
smelling the foods, connecting with family, being in the moment, actually chewing the food slowly, enjoying the flavors. It became work, work, work. Our mind is ruminating on all these different stressors.
Right.
And now even when we're eating our meals, we're thinking about what are we going to do next?
It's true. We don't and even a computer, you have to power the computer down every once in a while so that everything can reset and get in alignment. And I think we don't do that with the brain anymore. We don't just power down. Meditating is a great way to do that. Just sitting, maybe even listening to music, reading, just things to quiet the brain a little bit.
I mean, if you worked
Yeah.
out any muscle in the body nonstop, you're going to get lactic acid that's going to build up to the point where you're
Right.
cramping. I mean, you would never just run a marathon and then come back home and run a marathon again. You'd
Right.
sit down, you'd kick your legs up on a couch, you would
Exactly.
get that lactic acid out. But our brain is chronically thinking. I mean, 2% of our brain is the part that we're conscious about. We're having a conversation, but there's another 98% that's sensing our environment, feeling my heart rate and my breathing and making adjustments, and it's alert and it's active
Yeah.
all the time. We need to be able to put these things on pause. Mindfulness, slowing things down, even going for a walk and actually focusing on the nature, the smells, the scents, the scenery, being in the now and not thinking about all the stressors of work and potential consequences in the world,
Right.
and getting those hormones, those cortisols and adrenalines and norepinephrines to slow down is so
Right.
therapeutic, and it's something that should be done more frequently.
Exactly. Thank you so much. You're
My
wonderful.
pleasure. Yeah, thank you for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. It's been a joy, and hopefully we'll have you back again to share some more tips.
I would love it.
Great. Thank you.
Welcome.
As many of you know who've watched our past seasons of Passionate Living, I love hanging out with my friend Emmy award-winning Max Gail and his partner Chris, who are such lights in this world. And today we're going to get to know Chris a little bit better out in Santa Monica after they do their walking of the stairs. And then we're going to hear some original music from Max on the rooftop of a gorgeous condominium in Santa Monica right across from the ocean. So get ready for a real treat today. And another reminder that this world is a very small place. When we interviewed Michael Boddicker, who is a Grammy Award-winning composer, musician, Michael told us that he's in a Monday morning writing group with Max Gail. It's a small, small world. So buckle up your seatbelts and get ready for an amazing visit with Max and Chris.
We try to get here every day. Probably we get 5 times a week or 6, somewhere in there. Yeah, I mean, it's a beautiful. We joke about it as the good place. I don't know if you've seen there's a one of the Netflix, the good place. You know, it's just a beautiful. And you know,
I would be the one sneaking into heaven.
This is about like a little quarter higher dimension than the rest of the town.
I love it
Yep.
here. It's just such a magical place in Santa Monica. All of this area, but yeah, this all the way through to Malibu.
Yeah, I'm having this memory of many years ago, and I agreed to babysit for 3 friends of mine to take an acid trip together. They wanted to go out to Westward Beach, and it was Raul Julia, who's not with us anymore, was a wonderful actor originally from Puerto Rico, and Richard DeRusso and Jose Perez.
Oh wow!
And I remember at one point, there was some kind of storm way off the coast, so there were huge waves. You know, only the most serious, like body surfers, they were setting up too fast. That's a real slam beach there. You know, it doesn't really. So, but I remember sitting next to Raul, and it was like his body was there, but he was out on this, like maybe a kite or something, this silver thread that was disappeared, you know, out into the sky, you know. And I just thinking, I wonder if he's ever coming back.
That was a crazy time. It was a crazy time to be in California because was that the 70s? That was the 70s, right?
Yeah.
In the 70s.
And I've brought up drugs twice, but it would have been just as likely, you know, hang gliding or something like that. But I think that balance, you know, which most people that stay in any kind of public eye business, or any actually, but I mean have that need some kind of balance.
Yeah, they need to be grounded somehow.
Yeah, because a lot of the other stuff can get you floating.
Cut that string.
And being up there is fine too, you know.
The silver string with the
That's
kite.
right.
Yeah. And Chris, what are you passionate about? What are your
My
I know you're into
passion-
healing, right?
I am. I've done what's now called energy healing for about 40 years.
Uh-huh.
That I learned in an out-of-body experience in the 70s. In music. I'm a
Oh, yeah.
drummer.
Oh, you're a
Yeah,
drummer,
yeah.
so you two have the
She's a
same
percussionist.
passion of
Yeah.
music.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I can't wait to play
love
with you
drumming.
guys. I want to
What do you play?
anything that's around.
Oh wow.
I just love music.
You play all different instruments.
I used to write on piano and let everyone else make it sound good, and then I played tenor, sax, and clarinet. And then I sang a couple lifetimes ago, and
That's fabulous.
and I love my little way, and so I just love to hang with you when you're making music and make music with you. That'd be
Totally.
fun.
That would
That'll
be
be one
awesome.
of our play dates.
Yeah. Dancing, drumming, healing, yoga.
Yeah,
You know, that's
all the
about
good stuff.
it.
I'll just get a room and come back and forth and hang with you guys.
Well, it'll be fun to see how all that develops because everyone's sort of reorganizing and reconnecting,
Yeah.
and all the old things are being pulled away. So it'll be interesting.
It will. It'll
Yeah.
reorganize itself.
It will.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. Yeah, this was fun. And I
fabulous.
get
And
to
the
have
rose
you in
garden.
it and the rose garden.
Yeah.
This
That's
is
so wonderful.
beautiful.
Yeah, there's more to explore.
Well, thank you guys.
All right.
Thanks. We'll do a
You're
little
welcome.
ending. We'll do a little
Okay.
group
Oh, wonderful.
Uh-huh. Okay.
group hug ending.
All right. This is awful. Get it over quick.
So I'm with my buddy Kaz. Oh my God, it's gorgeous. Now this building that you have, this used to be something very cool.
So yeah, when it was built in the 1880s by Mary Louise Bethune, by the way.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh
this
my
was a
God, I
project of
didn't know
hers.
that.
Yep, and she also did the Lafayette Hotel. She was a prolific architect in the late 1800s, and this was one of her projects. And it was built as a stagecoach stop, a market, in 1884, I think it was built.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I love that you and Newell are back to business and playing again.
Yes, it's fun. Newell had a good idea this time. Thank God.
Yeah, he did. Right? Right? You guys, you've had a few of them.
He's got a lot of bad ideas, Newell, but this was a good one.
I'm here with Newell, my dear friend, and Newell, your passion for this city. You've started so many things, done so many projects. Now we're at an Italian market.
Yeah, a little European vibe, Italian market, the corner of Ashland and Bryant. I happen to live right in the neighborhood, and if you take a look at this building, it just lends itself towards being a marketplace. And at one point in the history of the building, it was a market, which is pretty wild. It was originally a stagecoach
Oh wow,
stop.
I didn't know that.
Yep. So if you actually look at it, it looks like a stagecoach stop, and then they transitioned to a market, and then to a restaurant. And so we're bringing back the market element.
You know, and it's not like, you guys are two of the most serious guys I've ever known.
Okay.
Hence, enter the footage from our farm to table.
Right.
I'm with Newell, who got me into this amazing meal.
Wait, I thought you got me into this amazing meal.
We got each other.
She always
into
does.
it.
It's crazy. See? Reverse psychology. It works every time with Kat.
But
Everybody knows that. Everybody knows that. Yes. I'm talking to all Cats fans, so you all know that. I had nothing to do with this. It was all Kat. And there's Dave.
Now, for people in their community, you have done so much for the city of Buffalo. You're always starting projects, festivals, things. You're like a force of nature. What would you tell somebody in their own community that wants to do something, start a project, and get it off the ground, and they're just like getting caught in their head?
Well, my wife always says that I look at Buffalo like Sim City. And if you live in a city, whether it's the city itself or the neighborhood or just a street or just a few houses, it's what do you need? What do you want? What are the things that would make you happy? And I just always think of the things that are missing. And I try to bring those things to life. And it's a little trial and error. But at the end of the day, it's not rocket science. And everybody, if you come up with a fun, interesting idea, people tend to want to help.
Yeah.
And as I started kind of calling some, when I met up with Dave, the owner of the building, who owns Trattoria Roma, and told him that I thought this would be a great market, he was just like, oh my gosh. He was like, how did I never think of that? This would be a fantastic market. So I started calling some of the vendors, and every vendor that I talked to that I described the building and the neighborhood, and they were just like, oh, we're on board. We're totally in. We can't wait. This is exciting. They were also excited that it was on a Sunday because there are so many Saturday markets. There are a couple of Sunday markets out there, but it was a Sunday market, and so a lot of the vendors that I talked to were like, yeah, we've been looking for a Sunday market. So that really worked to our advantage as well.
Nice. Oh, thank you, Newell.
Yeah, thank you.
Great job. Great job, as usual.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. Thank you for taking a moment.
Thanks for coming out and sharing your day with us. This has been a nice day, and hopefully we got many more Sundays to come.
Yes.
Yes. Mercato Diligenza. Diligenza translates to stagecoach in Italian.
Oh.
So we're going to go with
So how do you say
stagecoach
it?
market. Diligenza.
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 I like it.
Stagecoach market.
Italiano.
Italiano. Ciao.
Ciao. Thank you so much for joining us today on Passionate Living. We love joining you every Tuesday and Thursday night at 8 p.m. and Sunday mornings at 11 a.m. on your MeTV station, WBBZ TV. As well, you can catch past shows on our website, passionateliving.com, or join us on our YouTube channel at Passionate Living TV, where you can also see past episodes of Passionate Living. And before we leave today, I want to share with you some music from the rooftop in Santa Monica with Max Gail and his partner Chris and some other friends who joined us. And it's original music that Max writes. So sit back and enjoy some music as we roll our end credits today.
Yep.